Hello, it's Coach Manny Nowak again, fired up for you today, right? How we doing out there? I hope everybody's out trying to create a better world for everyone. You got our website, you can find us there. Anything you want to know, the blog connections there, check us out. Where are we going today? 50-50. We got to compromise, right? We all have heard that before. It's got to be a compromise. It's a 50-50 deal. That's the way life is done. Well, let's look at our government. How they doing with that compromise thing? 50-50 give take. Doing a tremendous job, aren't they? There's the word. It never works. Because if you look at relationships, if you look at business relationships or personal relationships or family relationships, 50-50 is not the way success is created. It's actually created through 100-100. So if you want a relationship that really works, you got to give 100%. Sometimes. And sometimes you give nothing and the other person has to give 100%. And that's kind of what we got there on the scale. Isn't that true, though? Sometimes you just got to let it roll. Sometimes you just got to let it go. Talk to somebody who's been married for over 20 years in a successful and happy marriage. And ask them if that's not true. I'd be surprised if they told you. Ask business partners who have been working together for over 10 years. Ask them if it's not true. We're going to show you a couple of examples here in a minute. See, in a compromise, neither party gets what they want. Do you understand that? In a compromise, both parties lose. Because I don't get what I want, I have to settle for something. You don't get what you want, you have to settle for something. That doesn't work. Humbleness equals strength. And how many times have we talked about that one? Duh. Sometimes you got to give in. Let me show you a couple of examples of how this works. Up here on the chart. Let's see. There we go. See? Here we go. Let's look at a couple of real simple 100-0. And I'll use a personal one to start out with. 100-0. Okay, I want to go to this restaurant. And I hate that food. I hate that restaurant. I want to go, let's find someplace that's 50-50. And sometimes that works, but not too often. Sometimes you just have to say, okay. And you go, and you have dinner, and the company's a lot more important than the food anyway. And you have a good time. And that's 100-0 because you've given it all. But then you flip that around sometimes. And the exact opposite happens, doesn't it? You really want to go somewhere. And your partner doesn't. But you end up going there. In the vendor purchases, I want to buy from this guy. Well, I don't want to buy from that guy. So what do? We settle for a vendor that's somewhere in the middle. Maybe not. I'm not happy because that vendor isn't fitting what I need. And you're not happy because that vendor isn't really fitting what you need anyway. It's just somebody in the middle we can agree on. Sometimes in business you'll find that, all right, we're going to go with that today. Because what's going to happen? Somewhere down the road, I'm going to probably have the exact same process. And now I get the 100%. With your children, sometimes, right? Sometimes you just have to give in, don't you? Sometimes you just have to, you don't want to go there. You want to compromise, but then neither party will be happy. Customer service. And this is a real strong one when it comes to compromise. A lot of companies want this customer service policy which says, well, we can give the customer pretty much what they want, but not really. And then you get somebody strong in customer service like myself who comes in and says, the customer is always right because the customer pays. If the customer isn't right, then they shouldn't be the customer, should they? Now, that's a strong policy, isn't it? Do you have that policy? If that person's going to be a customer, then you're going to service them. 100%. Otherwise, they're not going to be a customer anymore. Again, strong place where somebody that we got to give the refund. Well, let's just give partial. Now, what happens when you give a customer just part of their money back and they still got to settle for something? The customer's unhappy because the customer didn't get their money back. You're unhappy because you had to put some money out. Who's happy? Nobody. And of course, in service, sometimes we have to serve people. And you know how I keep telling you, service is so critical that we have to learn how to serve people again. And when you serve people, there are a lot of times when you're given 100, they're given 0. But wow, the reward, a lot of times you're getting 100, and you're not given that much, are you? So, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I said, if you're looking for success in business, you're looking for success in a personal relationship, you're looking for success, then you really need to understand that 50-50 is not going to get you there, regardless of what you've been taught. That many, many, many times, you're going to have to give it all. But many, many, many times, you end up giving nothing, and you still come out on top. So think about that. It's Coach Manny Nowak. What are we here for? To create a better world. What are we doing? We're creating a better world. There's our website. If you want to get a hold of us, have a great day out there. And remember, some days you got to give, some days you don't want to give. But somewhere in the middle, if you can get what you want some days and give more than you want some days, you're probably going to be okay. It's Coach Manny Nowak saying, whatever you do, go out and create a better world. Thank you.